And hello NSG, hello late nighters. Welcome for Need for Speed Carbon. So we are not going too far away from the family theme, I guess. Except, yeah, this game is actually good. So you guys donated for traditional Norwegian, so that's what we are going to run here. Um, and yeah, we have 2 hours ahead of us, so I guess I'm gonna do the countdown fairly quickly and yeah, present the game as the run goes on. So I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, this run is career any percent. So as the name suggests, we just need to complete the career mode. So beat the final boss as fast as possible. It's from new game, which means we are only allowed to start from a fresh save file, and we are not allowed to call a pre-existing save file for help at any point during the run. Because with a finished save file, you can actually break this game with the wrong warp, but there's actually a way to kinda use it in new game that got found out fairly recently, and we are gonna go for that route actually. So just the prologue, we meet our good old friend Cross, and we have to escape from him. We can lose this race, but you really have to do it on purpose. You need to stop on track for like 10 seconds, otherwise you just get down as fast as possible. Skip the cutscene. And yeah, now we got to pick our starter car, so we had the choice between 3 cars, and it's really important because it changed the entire progression of the game, which car you pick. So you had choice between a tuner class car, which is the Camaro, the one we picked, an exotic car, which is the Alfa Brera, and the tuner class, which is the Mazda RX-8. So depending of which car you pick, the first boss you have to play is not the same. The order changes, and it also changes the unlocks. What the races on the map are the same in the same location, but they don't unlock the same thing based off if you picked one car or the other at the start. So Muscle has both the advantage of the Camaro being the best car out of the 3, but it's not that important. It's not the key part because we're only gonna use it for a handful of races. But it has other advantages. The unlocks are way more favorable with the Camaro. It's actually ridiculous how optimal the unlocks are on the Muscle route. So like it's a meta since like at least 2015, prehistoric times by this game standards. At least when it comes to full game runs. And yeah, also you got the shortest races in the first area where you have the slowest car. So that is also convenient because that means you can save the longer races for when you have a better car. So now it's a tutorial. We got Nikki presenting us all 3 types of wingman, which will not be that useful during the run. But yeah, you have blockers which can take down opponents. You have scouts that show you the shortcuts, and you have drafters that show you that can tow you, get in front of you, and give you a tow to for a boost of speed. And yeah, the only part really hard of that tutorial is to time the block properly in that slow part that Neville struggles to navigate through. And the scout as well, you need to wait a bit for that text to clear out, and like 2 more seconds after that text clear out before you go in the shortcut, otherwise you need to wait for the next one, which lose you like 20-30 seconds. And also, if you played this game before, you might have remembered that Nikki is talking during that tutorial. Meanwhile here she didn't. It's not because of the language, even though traditional Norwegian doesn't have a dub. She would still be supposed to talk, but we turn speech off to 0 because the tutorial actually goes on faster if we turn her voice off pretty much, and it will also help us not getting getting far less chances of getting a cop chase during the races of this run. So this is the only mandatory cop chases, so hopefully the only time we're gonna see the cops in the entirety of the run. Thankfully we kinda need a truck to get this chase as fast as possible in order to kill all three at once. This guy being ahead of us is an issue because he doesn't die. And yeah, we got a truck, but sadly nobody died from it. So I guess we are kinda gonna need to find a way. So we killed one manually, and I think I'm gonna have to kill the other two manually as well. Okay, they killed each other, so that's perfect. Even though we didn't get the truck, it will be a fairly good escape. Because ideally you want that cooldown to end right when you get to the safe house. Normally after the cooldown, Neville gives you the coordinate of the safe house, but it's not RNG, it's always in the same place. So of course we played this game thousands of times before, so we know where the safe house is. It's right here, so we're just gonna have to wait a bit, and hopefully we are immediately gonna trigger the cutscene. There we go. Yeah, 540 RTI is pretty good escape. I would say like we lost at most 10 seconds probably to optimal one. So yeah, here we go. Neville will be our first wingman. It will follow us for quite a bit actually, since all the wingmans are useless pretty much. He's gonna be our guy. And sadly, the actor that portrays Neville in this game passed away at the beginning of the year. So yeah, shoutouts to him and condolences to the people close to him. For sure, he will be remembered as long as there will be people playing this game. Chris Gauthier is the name of his name of the actor. So since we picked the Camaro, NG's zone is the first one we are gonna play through. And that's actually NG's music that you hear in the background. So you're gonna hear it again in the cutscene coming afterwards. So we start with a checkpoint race. So if you play Most Wanted, it's similar to the toll booth. You just have checkpoints with the remaining time, and you get extra time, bonus time as you get to any checkpoint. And yeah, I never really, even as a kid, I never really understood the game design of those races, because like it's extremely easy to beat even casually. Like as you can see, I already have like over 20 seconds to spare, and by the time I get to the end of the race I will have like 50, even though I have like the stock starter car with no upgrades. Because yeah, I haven't unlocked any upgrades yet. So yeah, I don't know why they made it so easy, even for the casual player. So yeah, in this sharp corner we already abuse a bit of speed breaker. We're gonna see it a lot. Even though it slows down time, which should be bad in an RTA speedrun, it gives you extra grip, and by tapping it like that, you can really abuse it and corner a lot faster. So yeah, so NG now, since we beat the first race, we get a cutscene of NG getting angry at us.
Yeah, I heard you were in town. Go back where you came from.
Yeah, that's pretty straightforward. So then we'll get a small cutscene that we cannot skip, sadly. Oh no, we got a sound glitch here that is extremely bad. Okay, that's really bad. Not only I need to restart the game, but I'm gonna have to do the cop chase again, which is a big time loss. Because the game doesn't save after I get to the prologue. Wait, did I launch the right version of the game? Yeah? I feel like I didn't do the cutscene. I guess I skipped too fast. Yeah, Yeah, that is really bad. Because as you can see, we are warped all the way there, so we lost like, I don't know, a good 6 minutes. So yeah, we are even like gonna be kinda tight with estimate now.
While we're recovering to where we were, is there time for me to read a quick something?
Yeah, yeah. Just go ahead. Since we are gonna have to replace the chase in the race, you can. You have time for as many announcements as you want.
Fair enough. All right, well, first of all, I should announce that we have received a very generous 60 kroner from Room Guy X, who says, "Cousin, you know what time it is? Just sleep, bro." I think we all would. It's deep in the graveyard shift now.
Yeah, thank you, room
Uh,
guy.
Thank
Thank you
you
very much.
indeed. Yes. What we are donating for, by the way, let me tell people a little bit about the Norwegian Association for the Blind and Partially Sighted, or Norges Blindfund, if you do prefer. They are an absolutely fantastic charity who have been providing a multitude of special products and services for blind and partially sighted people in Norway. Some examples include guide dog training, summer camps for children and youth, an extensive rehabilitation program for people with recent visual impairment, advice for members on their rights in society, and Norway's only centre for braille printing of information, literature, and books on a variety of subjects. It's really a fantastic way to help benefit people whose quality of life has been affected by such conditions. So thank you very much to everyone who has donated so far. We've already smashed well over 27,000 kroners, and I really love to see it. So thank you very much from me and everyone here at NSG. With that, back to you.
Yeah, so we cleared the chase for a second time. I hope this will not happen again. Otherwise, that would be extremely bad. Okay, you can also get one here, so.
This whole city's a battleground. All the crews are always fighting over.
So yeah, we have to get through that cutscene again. So yeah, the principle of this game, I have time to explain it. You have to gain territory, as Nikki is explaining in the tutorial. So each territory has 3 races, but you need to own 2 out of 3 to control the territory. And once you control all the territories in a zone, yeah, you unlock the boss fight to secure the zone and win it once and for all, and get to the next part of the game. So that's yeah, that's our goal pretty much. And yeah, so it's a combination of doing the shortest races and getting the unlocks you want. However, from the unlocks, we're mostly gonna vary on the order of the races to get what we need as soon as possible. Because actually, muscle route is so optimal that you would pretty much never have to drive a slower race to unlock what we want. Like the unlocks allow us to get most of what we need just by doing the shortest races. We just need to optimize the order in order to optimize it. And so over the years that order kinda changed, and what we upgrade kinda changed as well. But yeah, oops. This truck has a bit of a sticking out hitbox. But yeah, as I said, those checkpoint races are pretty easy to beat, even if we crash countless times. So hopefully we don't get it again, because that will be extremely bad if that happens. So Prage.
Yeah, I heard you were in town. Go back where you came from.
Okay, this time we can make progress. I was quite scared for a second. Okay, I hope we won't get any other one in this run. It could be really bad if we get one before Darius. Especially because like I'd planned the backup save for Darius, but he didn't wanna work for some reason, so yeah, that means I don't have the backup. Okay, so it's the first race with actual opponents against us. So yeah, we get 6 opponents plus the wingman. Neville is a blocker, so he won't do much. He's just here because someone's gotta be there. Just at times I will activate him, but that's only because when he's right behind me and I ask him to block someone, he will slow down to get back to the AI to try and block them. So it's pretty much if I don't want him on my tail, if that ever happens. That's the only reason to ever activate him, because I don't really need any AI to be blocked. But yeah, we won't replace him until we get Nikki, because the others are not really useful. The only one we could sort of make use of is Yumi, but we don't have her for long enough before getting Nikki to really make full use of her, because she gives us extra NOS, but Nikki gives us more. And it's like only 3 races where we can benefit from Yumi, so it's not... I guess it's kinda equal in... to menu for Yumi or to get her, but the thing is she's a scout, and having a scout is quite annoying because the armament is really strong, so they tend to try to get in front of us and then break check us. There used to be a time where we didn't really understand how triggering the cops worked, so we were getting cops a lot more often, and we actually believed at the time that getting Sal helped in getting less odds of getting cops. But turned out that's not really true, even though the game tells us you get less cops. With Sal, it's not really true. It doesn't really make a difference, and other than that, there are ways you can make a difference by turning speech volume off and not starting any race from a safe house and not hitting too much stuff on the road. You pretty much are you reduce greatly your odds of getting cops. So Sal is not needed anymore, and that's a lot better for the run because yeah, Sal was brake checking us a lot of time and making us lose really a lot of time. He was really annoying to deal with. So yeah, Waterfront Road is already the last race we are doing with the Camaro, because we are gonna buy the Mazda 3 thanks to the extra money we get from the Collector's Edition. Otherwise on the regular version of the game we wouldn't have enough money. So yeah, however, we don't have enough money to upgrade it yet, so yeah, we are just gonna stick with the Mazda stock for now. Yeah, the Mazda is the second best tier 1, but the other one is not really available in new game. It's a Nissan 240SX, and you need to unlock it through Challenge Series. And in new game, we are required to start from a fresh file, so in order to access the 240SX, you would have to beat the Challenge Series events as part of the run, and that takes way too much time. So we don't have the 240SX, which is also a collector's only car, for instance. But yeah, that means we won't have this car in the career, so as long as we're gonna drive tier 1, it's gonna be the Mazda 3. We're gonna keep it for a while, because we will switch later to the Lotus Elise as a tier 2. But we need to unlock enough upgrades on it for it to be worth it. So the first part of the tier 2 races, we're gonna stick with our Mazda until we unlocked what we want on the Lotus. And of course, we don't unlock the Lotus straight away neither. So yeah, we're gonna have the Mazda for quite a bit. So a second cutscene with NG, where she's gonna trash talk us again.
You think you're making a name for yourself. Keep racing through my territory and I'll waste you and your reputation.
Luckily in those in-game rendered, no risk of sound glitch, it's only on the FMV. So yeah, the sound glitch that happened earlier, basically it's when, it's with modern CPUs, the game doesn't really like them, and sometimes it will play one of the FMV cutscenes without sound. If it's a cutscene that you can skip, it's not a problem, because yeah, it makes the cutscene freeze after a few seconds. But if it's a cutscene you can skip, it's not an issue, because you can skip it still. But if it's a cutscene you cannot skip, then you are hard locked, and you have to Alt F4 the game. And if it's at a part where it didn't autosave, it's really bad. And yeah, we got like the second worst section we could sound glitch on, to be honest. The other one is right before the Darius Canyon at the very end of the run. There are a few spots though. Every boss intro is pretty bad, because then you have to redo an entire race if that happens, so you lose like minutes. Meanwhile, if it's in another spot, yeah, there's also the Canyon dual intro that would be really bad. That would be like 3 minutes down the toilet as well. I think if we get another one, the estimate will be tight, actually. If we don't get another, I could be fine. And actually, the very first time I run this game in a marathon, it was at no glitches allowed, and the same thing happened to me, actually. I got the sound glitch in the exact same spot I got it here. So yeah, I guess something never changed. You always get back to where you come from. So yeah, after this race we are gonna upgrade, and here is a sad intro. You can skip it if you mash fast enough, which I did not. Yeah, what am I doing? Just go here, sell the Camaro, otherwise we are short on money. And then yeah, so we're gonna upgrade to street engine, street suspension, pro nitros, and pro tires. And then we are gonna move on to the drifts. So yeah, drifts has very specific mechanics in this game. The most important one is that when you enter a corner, you start a drift, the game stores your speed and will give it back to you at the end of the race. At the end of the corner, sorry. At the end of the corner, when you straighten the car, you will get the speed back. Which means it snowballs a lot, because as soon as you drive perfectly, you will carry over the speed. Thing is, it doesn't give the speed back to you if you release throttle for too long, or if you hit a wall. So yeah, that means that mistakes snowball a lot, because not only you don't get that cumulative speed anymore, you lose everything by hitting the wall, but as well the speed lock will backfire from you, because it actually goes both ways. that it gives the speed back to you also means that you cannot speed up during the corner. Like if you speed up during the corner, you will be put back to the speed you enter it, which we call it the speed lock. But so far it's going pretty smoothly. This drift is not the hardest because the car is not that powerful yet, and the layout is pretty favorable. So there we go, and we are gonna move on to Mission Street. And then we are gonna upgrade again and go for the wrong warp. No, Neville, don't go for it, thank you. So yeah, you usually wanna use your entirety of the NOS at the start, because your NOS just reloads as you drive, and you start with a full bar. So yeah, not using the NOS at the start is pretty much reload you're not using. Therefore, it's not. Yeah, if you're just losing NOS over the course of the whole race if you don't NOS at the start. However, on some tracks, the first corner is really close, so you don't use the entire bar. Like you will only lose a few of it, and this track is one of it because you still wanna keep it most of your NOS for. Yeah, the ideal spot to use a lot of NOS is out of a slow corner with a really long straight coming up. That's, yeah, it's the spot where you don't want to use the most amount of NOS. So yeah, you can adapt your NOS strats to that information, like out of corners, and yeah, depending on how slow you exit the corner and how long the straight is gonna be afterwards. Actually, for a better one warp, I need to put myself in car lot and exit immediately. Although, because I prefer to be spawned back at the car lot rather than at the safe house, it's more convenient. So I upgrade to Pro Engine. Yeah, be sure to confirm. And then we are gonna set up the one warp. So we are gonna save our save file and start a new career, because as I said, we are not allowed to use a pre-existing save file. And we did a new career because when you start a new career, you get access to the first 2 Kenji territories in Quick Race, which you lose access to when you pick the Camaro at the start. So that's why we need it. And since I created this file after starting the run, I'm allowed to do that in new game. So I picked Lincoln Boulevard, which is a race on Kenji territory, and yeah, immediately quitted and reloaded my save back. And now I need to free roam to a race where I can change the teammate, the wingman, so that anything except checkpoints and drifts. That's why I'm ignoring those 2 races that are closer. I'm gonna drive to this one instead. So up, changing wingman, enter the race, and I will be on Lincoln Boulevard, the race I picked in Quick Race instead of the race I drove to. And yeah, that race is on Kenji's territory, so I'm not supposed to be here. And that will allow me to access Kenji and Wolf territories without beating Kenji. I will have to beat her eventually, but I can delay until after beating the other 2, which has 2 convenient things. Because like I lost a minute by doing that wrong warp, by setting this whole thing up. But I'm gonna get time back from being able to do the NG boss fight with the Lotus Elise, and it's a pretty long event. So I'm gonna save a lot of time by driving the Elise. And also, if you drive through Kenji and Wolf territory without having NG beaten, you have a few cutscenes that won't trigger anymore, which is, yes, small time saves here and there. You have another drawback though, is that there is one race on this route that you have to drive with the Mazda that you could drive with the Elise if you were going for the regular glitchless route. I hope I won't get a sound glitch, by the way, because I will have to set up this whole thing again if I do so.
I heard you were back in town.
Rage.
Now I wanna hear you're gone.
I'm actually stressed right now. Okay, good. No sound glitch here. So yeah, however, for accessing the other races to Kenji and Wolf, we still need to beat the remaining races on NG. It's only when the boss fight is unlocked that we do unlock the races on Fortuna and downtown territories. Otherwise, this route would save a lot of time if we could straight away, because that would allow us to delay all the races left. We could delay everything. Sadly, we cannot. And yeah, actually, this glitched route is the only glitch you will see in the run. And spoiler alert, it's actually, despite everything I said, it's actually not worth it. You lose like, by doing this glitch route, you lose like 10 seconds. But I think it's a lot more fun to showcase this route in the marathon, to showcase like the only usable glitch pretty much. And like, you know, it's close enough, like it's still competitive. You only lose 10 seconds, which also means that if this was found out like a year or two ago, it would be the meta. Because actually it loses 10 seconds due to recent, like relatively recent route adjustments we found to the standard route. So had we found that strat with the new game wrong warp earlier, we would have had it meta, at least until that current route gets found. But yeah, it's kind of funny that you can like change the run so much, like change so much the order of the run, delay everything, do an entire glitch, and it's still like you're still losing 10 seconds of the other route. So yeah, one of the few games where playing the glitched route is not preferable over the glitchless one. That means, of course, there's only one category on SRC, obviously. There's only any percent. And, I mean, you can use both glitches and glitchless until, I guess, until something actually useful gets found out for a new game. But yeah, I think nobody has a PB with this wrong warp since it's pretty recent. And yeah, I'm one of the only few that actually put effort into that Mimi route. So we have 2 more races before unlocking NG, but then we will delay her, as I said earlier. So yeah, the upcoming race we already done 2 so far, but I didn't explain them. The next race after this one is a speed trap event, which unlike the regular races, you have sort of checkpoints, I guess. But actually, you need to cross those at the highest speed possible. The speed at which you cross them gets saved. And yeah, it's not about who finished the fastest, but it's about who has the highest sum of speeds accumulated in the speed traps. So you can see, like, we crossed 2 already, and there's another one coming up here. In this game, though, thankfully, the rubber band of the eye is not too strong, so we don't have to worry a lot about that. Usually, just by driving the race normally, and finishing first should be more than enough, because the only advantage of finishing first is that you when the leader crosses the finish line, everyone gets 10 kilometers per hour penalty to their sum of speed per second, per extra second they take to complete the race. So pretty much just by crossing the line in front of the AI by quite a big margin, you are safe. So here we are gonna get the SMS that we can fight NG, but we are straight up gonna ignore her because she's never gonna go away. So we can we unlock, thanks to the one warp race we did. We are allowed already to do those races on Kenji and Wolf territory. So we will immediately do the races we need to unlock the Elise and its upgrades. And yeah, the NG race is never gonna go away, so we're just gonna leave her here and yeah, she's gonna have to wait for us for a while, because I think we are gonna, yeah, we're gonna face her in like probably like 40 minutes from now, 45 minutes from now. Because we are gonna actually face her last. Even though she's supposed to be the first boss we do, we are gonna do her last out of the three. After Kenji and Wolf. So yeah, after this race, we're gonna control our first territory in downtown. So yeah, you might have noticed it, but this game came out the same year as since we were doing family game earlier. This game came out the same year as Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, and I have no idea who copied on who. But the aesthetics are really similar in both the movie and this game. It's to the point that you have the canyon duels in this game, and even like the movie sort of has one at the end. So yeah, I don't know who copied on who, but it's really surprising how really similar in aesthetics they both are. Of course, ever since NFS Underground, both NFS in that, like, you know, customization era and the Fast and Furious franchise were taking a lot of inspiration with each other. But here, like, it's really close and came out the same year, so they gotta have developed the game at the same time the movie was being shot, so yeah, I don't know how much of a coincidence this is. But yeah, actually there was a video game ported from Tokyo Drift, which I think is simply called The Fast and the Furious for the PS2. So since Vanished has done the other game, maybe next NSG will do this one, I don't know. You need to ask him. But maybe you want to sleep by that point. But yeah, maybe he can showcase this game at next NSG. It's a really bad game though, so in a way, this game is a better, like Need for Speed Carbon is a better Tokyo Drift the video game than Tokyo Drift the video game, which is extremely sad. But with games made out of movies, it's actually really common to have just a video game franchise that is kind of a better port of the movie than the actual port of the movie. So actually, taking this first part of the oh yeah, no, in this track it was actually worth it to go for both parts. I got confused. Okay, hopefully no sound glitch here, otherwise I would have to redo the race. So Prage for no sound glitch.
So, how long did it take you to spend all that money you took from me?
Okay, good. Good. And it's fresh, and I say yes. Probably one of the most memed songs about this game. Maybe this one and the Darius intro are the most memed. So now we are gonna move to York Road. So yeah, each race we do here unlocks a key upgrade for the Lotus. So Condoro, if I'm the one we just did, if I remember correctly, it unlocks tires through the street tires, which for the Lotus Elise are better than the pro tires, which is not supposed to be the case, but it's Electronic Arts, so of course it's not gonna be as intended. And the pro tires for the Elise are actually bugged and give you less grip than the street tires. So yeah, the circuit we just did before unlocks the tires, and this one unlocks the street suspension, which helps greatly in the handling of this car. Pro suspension would be even better, unlike for tires, but the thing is, pro suspension is like barely better. It's really close. It's a bit better with pro, but not much. And I don't remember where it is, but it's it's a really long, annoying circuit to unlock pro suspension, if I remember correctly. So it's just not worth going for it. It's either that or boss race. I don't remember exactly. But then it's not worth menu back after beating a boss for pro suspension, because it barely saves you anything, honestly. So we just stick with street. Alright, so now we go to North Bejedza. Which is one of my favorite tracks in the game, actually. So yeah, actually, by doing the Fortuna races in this order, if you played the glitchless route, you would have to do those 4 in order, because it would allow you to skip a cutscene. But the thing is, we skip that cutscene. We sort of skip that cutscene by having done the wrong warp. So here we could have done the drift before this race. Doesn't matter much. But yeah, I just got used to do it in this order from the traditional glitchless route. But actually, because of that, that's an extra spot we can sound glitch on. Because those canyon intros we can sound glitch on. So here we're gonna go in between those. You're gonna see that section a few more times in this run. Hopefully I can make it through that gap every time. Because hitting the pursuit breaker would lose you quite a lot of speed, especially this one. This one is quite costly. There's even 2 times where we're gonna do it in the opposite direction, which is even trickier. Because there's a nasty bump, which can send us flipping. Alright, so now we are gonna go to the 3rd drift in the run, the sound glitch. Really good. Yeah, if you have questions in the chat, I can pick them up. I can read chat. I may not notice immediately, but like, as you may notice, there's a bunch of transition, loading screen, etc. that gives me some time, at least in those moments, to take a look at the question. So yeah, this drift is pretty difficult and pretty long, with a lot of twisty corners. So hopefully we make it in one piece. And yeah, this canyon intro, if you do this race, if you beat NG and get this race in 4th on Wolf territory, you will get at the beginning of it a cutscene of Darius speaking to his henchman, which is a cutscene you can skip, so it only takes like 4 or 5 seconds before you can skip. And playing that cutscene on that race would skip you the canyon intro you saw. But since we didn't beat NG, we're gonna skip this cutscene altogether. So we got the canyon intro instead, which is roughly the same amount of time. But there's 2 more cutscenes that we are skipping, which total saves us like 16, 17 seconds. Something like that. Like there's a in-game cutscene you cannot skip where Darius congratulates you. He says like, "You got it, kid." This one is like roughly 12 seconds. And a cutscene you can skip where Nikki walks to your car. And so since you can skip this one, it's like 4 or 5 seconds-ish. So yeah, the second Wolf cutscene. We have 3 more races with Lotus. No, actually 5, because
This area is for serious
6
drivers.
even. Because there are 3 drift, like,
Not
yeah.
cowards.
2 races and then 4 drifts in a row for more drift content, if you like drifting. So first we're gonna go to $1 Million Drive with a shortcut at the start, which is a huge meme. We are most likely not gonna be able to take it. Okay, we are. Usually when you get the start pattern, it's really hard to get through that gap. The thing is, this shortcut crosses back the road. So if you get blocked by the AI at the start, you then become at heavy risk of getting collected by the AI at the intersection. Hopefully we made it through fine, despite having that cursed start pattern. So that's good for us. And yeah, there's a controversial strat you can do for this game, which I usually use at home, but not here actually. Is that you can rebind your scroll wheel to the open world map button. Oh, sadly I collected the pursuit breaker. I won't get it perfectly this run, sad. Yeah, you can bind your scroll wheel. If you have an infinite scroll wheel mouse, you can use like a program to bind the open world map button, which is M on a US keyboard, and the same position, whatever matches that position. If you use another keyboard, you bind your infinite scroll wheel to that, to M or whatever it is in your country, and you can open the world map so fast that you will avoid any territory attack, which you haven't seen so far, because you can also reduce your odds by mashing open world map fast enough the traditional way. But if you have the infinite scroll wheel, you're pretty much almost guaranteed to not get one. Also, if you play the glitchless route, it also gives you big odds of skipping the Sal cutscene, which saves you like around 7 seconds. But it is controversial given that you need a third-party program to rebind the key. You cannot in-game bind open world map to the scroll wheel. So it is allowed, but the community is split. Some people disagree with that. However, right now I am not using it. I'm not on my setup, so yeah, I didn't set that up. So this is the good old way, and yeah. Then for once, the people unhappy about it will be satisfied with this run because I am not using it. However, skipping Sal is much trickier with this one warp route because there's 2 instances where you need to press pause instead of going to safe house through the world map because you need to be in Carlot for the free roam by the time you start the free roam. So yeah, that means you cannot afford to warp yourself to safe house. I mean, you need to warp yourself from say south on the pause menu, which you cannot rebind to the scroll wheel. It wouldn't be efficient, because yeah, having it pressed a second time would unpause the game and lose the interest of it, the point of it. So yeah, you would need to pause fast enough twice to avoid getting Sal in that glitch route, which I already pulled off a few times. Other runners can pull it off. Some other runners can pull it off more often than I do, because their mashing is a lot better than mine. But yeah, it is possible to do it without the scroll wheel. With the traditional route though, if you don't use the infinite scroll wheel, it's almost impossible to skip Sal altogether. I think there's only one runner that can get it somewhat reliably, it's Kunes. Because his mashing is so fast, he can open the world map fast enough. But even for him it's not 100%, because then you can trigger that cutscene all the way until you beat NG if you don't do the wrong warp, so that's a lot of time. You need to time it right, or fast enough rather. Meanwhile, yeah, with that trick it's completely free. Sometimes you will get screwed over because sometimes the game will eat your inputs even with that. Like you will get a small lag and when you enter free roam, and so your inputs will not be taken into account, but it's pretty rare overall. So with the scroll wheel you can get like at least 5 full runs in a row without getting a territory attack. So if you get a territory attack on a boss you didn't beat yet, the thing is, intended by the game, you... Oh, well, just as I say it, I have to do that. I got to showcase it. So I'm gonna go to this drift. Yeah, if you get a territory attack, the game intends you to redo the race to defend your territory. So that's what intended by the game. But the thing is, if you have autosave on, which I do, you can just reload your save file, and the territory attack will not have saved. So you just decline the territory attack, so you lose the race by forfeit. But then you reload immediately your save file, and yeah, the territory attack never happened if you do that, because it didn't save. So that yeah, you only lose 10-15 seconds instead of having to redo an entire race. If it's on a territory where you already unlocked the boss race though, you actually don't need to reload. Because this is only any percent. We don't need to we actually don't need to control the races. Because if you unlock the boss race or you beat the boss, it will never go away. And if you beat the boss, then yeah, you beat the boss. So you don't really care about that zone anymore. Only if you're playing career 100%, then you need to reload for every territory attack you get, no matter what. Because you need to control every race at once. So that means the scroll wheel is really powerful in 100%. Yeah, another one, but this time it's on Kempton, so it doesn't matter. Because we unlocked NG already. So yeah, we could already get the Elise by that point and do those 2 drifts with the Elise. But the thing is, the Elise does really bad at drifting. You can go faster than with the Mazda, but if you drive the Elise perfectly, you save like 5 seconds cumulated over the 2 drifts. And it's extremely risky because the Elise is a lot harder to drive. And yeah, drifting is not really my strength in this game. Compared to other runners, my drifting skills are pretty weak. The best you can ask for me is hopefully to make it to the bottom without crashing, and yeah, I do a lot better at that with the Mazda than with the Elise, and yeah. Due to the way I drive the Elise, I barely save any time, even if I drive the Elise perfectly, so I just choose to do those drifts with the Mazda. For me, it's more efficient. Oh, and yeah, oh, I see Sliven is in the chat. Hello, Sliven.
Your crew.
If you're here, I guess you're on a night shift. All right. So last race with a Mazda. So if you're a Mazda 3 lover, last chance for you to admire it. So yeah, on this drift you can really get high speed. And actually, funnily enough, the lap, if you drive optimally, the lap 2, the second lap is faster on with Mazda than with the Lotus. If you drive perfectly though, you still save enough on the first lap to be barely worth it with the Lotus. But I guess you could even do it, yeah, if that's a personal preference, you could even do like the canyon drift with the Lotus and then this one with the Mazda. Or even the other way around. That would technically not be a time loss to do that, but... oh yeah, I need to buy the car first. What am I doing? Okay, so we are gonna buy the Lotus, and then go to safe house and upgrade our new car. We got Pro Engine, 3 suspension. Oh, yeah. Did I put 3 tires? Yeah. Good. So yeah, if you start a race from safe house where you can get cops on, I think I said it earlier, but you are extremely likely to get cops in that race, which we don't want to, since we, unlike Most Wanted, there's no progress you can make in the game by having the cops against you, so you don't want cop chases in this game. So every time I go from safe house, I start a race where I cannot get cops on anyway. Yeah, to circumvent that. And you cannot get territory attacks in canyons, canyon tracks, on checkpoints, and on boss races. Those are the spots where you cannot get territory attacks on. Sorry, cop chases on. I think you can also not get territory attacks on, actually. So as you might see, Speedbreaker is extremely powerful with this car. It single-handedly, like the sole existence of Speedbreaker makes this car the second best car in the entire game, behind the Corvette, and faster than actually all the other tier 3. Meanwhile, without Speedbreaker, it's still an extremely OP tier 2 car, but it's a lot slower than most of the tier 3. But yes, Speedbreaker just makes this car another beast, because it's really understeery, and Speedbreaker gives you a lot of extra turn-in. But thing is, with grippy cars, it will gives you so much grip that the car will slide out or lose too much momentum. But since this car is so understeery, Speedbreaker used well will give you just the right amount of grip, and yeah, that means you can really corner so fast. compared to if you were just driving the regular understeery Elise. So yeah, it's really stupid, and yeah, for years we really underestimated the potential of Speedbreaker, and it's really like last year, yeah, that a few runners starting to really abuse it a lot, and got extremely fast PBs with it. So yeah, it kinda incentives the fast runners that were not using it as much. Oh, another reload. That were not doing it as much to start doing it as well. So that's yeah. The other runners, me myself included, we started doing it more, and yeah, we got instantly like massive PBs. So yeah, and even like the world record holder Art Acer, he already had the record by a mile, and then he's starting doing that, and now he's even further ahead than everybody else. Because like the top 10 is, I would say, fairly close to each other, but then you have just that massive gap between first and second. Because our Art Acers is really just on another level. Like he's like the Nifsky of this game. Like I think he has a 4-minute gap between him and second place, which is like the gap between second and like 10th, probably. By the way, I keep yapping, but if you have like donations or announcement, feel free to request it or
I
whatever.
absolutely can do so, yes indeed. I think it's probably quite prudent that I shout out some of the other bid wars and incentives that we've got live at the moment. For in a few short hours, Eris will be taking us through a lovely trip of Rollercoaster Tycoon 3. And for that, we've actually got two things for you to potentially consider opening your wallets for. First of all, and most importantly, in my opinion at least, there is the opportunity to send the park inspector to hell. Everyone apparently is not very fond of this park inspector. After all, he's getting in your way, isn't he? He's not helping you with your park, he's there to make problems for you. So Eris is offering to banish him to the 7th circle. Currently, we're 1713 kroner out of our 5,000 target on that one. Plenty of time left, but do consider getting a move on with that one if you want to see that. Elsewise, you can also name one of the roller coasters. Maybe the one that will finally cause a criminal negligence charge if you're lucky. Currently on the docket, there's metrictime.com, Viper's Hell Ride, House Music, Mr. Bones Wild Ride, that's my favorite, and Geardommer. So just a little bit of inspiration if you've not got any so far. But if Rollercoaster Tycoon is not taking your fancy, it's immediately followed by Spirit of the North, which is of course going to be run by Rising Phoenix. And for that, there is a bid war active to choose the Fox skin. Black Fox is currently in the lead, tied actually it's a complete tie between all four options: Black Fox, Infected Fox, Red Fox, and Snow Fox. I've got my preference, but I'll hold my tongue because this is on the knife's edge. Any donation, no matter how small, could tip the balance, so be sure to put it towards that. With that, though, I'm out of things to plug, so please do take us away.
Sure. Yeah. So actually, in that we got the Darius music and that checkpoint race. So that's a bit of a teaser of what's awaiting us. So this is the last race before actually unlocking Kenji's boss race. So yeah, he's actually gonna be the first boss we're gonna beat in this run, even though that's not what's supposed to happen because we went for that one warp. Oh, nice traffic right there. We haven't seen too many shenanigans with traffic actually, but it's been a fairly clean run overall, which makes it even more unfortunate that I got that time glitch at the start. I think we would be on decent pace despite the 2 reloads if that didn't happen. But yeah, the traffic in this game has pretty erratic behavior. I often jokingly say that the traffic cars are more dangerous than the street racers in this city, and I'm not that far away from the truth, honestly, because like sometimes they are on the right lane and they turn left at the intersection without signals. There's even some places where their pathfinding is pretty bad, so they can like straight up get confused and turn around. Some places like that are on the highway. When they enter and exit the highways, they can do it like in really erratic ways. Yeah, the traffic behavior is really bad. They can also enter the shortcuts. Things that was not intended, but yeah, that's something they forgot to do, I guess, when they did the press finding. So all those back alleys, shortcuts like this one, you can encounter traffic cars in those. Yeah, I know the game takes place in the United States, but and yeah, they're known for quite a lot of road rages, but still, like it's quite ridiculous how the traffic behaves. This game is pretty dark by default, to be honest. Actually, there is some graphic options on to make it brighter already. The only thing that could make it even brighter would be to have like all the reflections to the max. But yeah, that's pretty bad performance-wise, and yeah, we are running it on single-core CPU, so that means that even though we are on a good PC, we are still not using it to its full potential, because if you don't use single-core, you get sound glitch all the time, like actually all the time. Due to yeah, the game not handling modern CPUs too well. That's yeah, that's the issue with retro gaming. And yes, as much as I hate to say it, this game is retro gaming by this point. It's yeah, it's actually 18. This game is yeah in November. Yeah, actually in November this game will be legal to drink in most of Europe. Hopefully no sound glitch after this in the canyon tutorial, because otherwise I would have to redo this race. So yeah, I like this racetrack. I think all 3 tracks where you race the boss on are pretty good. But I think out of the 3, this one is my favorite. So in those sharp corners you can really make full use of the OP speed breaker. And Prage. Nice. Okay, no sound glitch here.
You're gonna need all your skills for the canyon. When you get challenged by a boss, you end up here. First
But yeah, this game could be even darker. Like
aggressive. Stay right on 'em all the way down.
With low particle filter and shaders to the max, we are already making the game a lot brighter than it can be. And actually, if you play this game on like SD consoles, so OG Xbox, no, was this game released for OG Xbox? But at least PS2 and GameCube, for sure. And I think for the Wii as well, then the game is very dark. The game is very dark because you don't get those graphic options, and you cannot change graphic options in console releases. So yeah, in those releases it's extremely dark, especially in the canyon. You really cannot see anything. It's quite stupid. So yeah, Canyon Duel, there's a complex point system and whatever, 2 rounds and stuff. We don't care about that. If you overtake the opponents and lead for 10 seconds, it's GG. And that's only the only thing we care about. Okay, no sound glitch here neither. That's really good news. Okay, so small trick coming up. We have 2 reward cards we can pick from, and if instead of picking it by selecting enter, we're picking it by opening world map, so M on the D-pad. You skip the animation for the card. Like if I pressed enter or A on the controller, you would have like a slow animation of the car spinning around. But by pressing M, you just get the card instantly, which doesn't make any sense. Because M is to open world map, it's never to pick something. But it works. And yeah, that's the only thing we really care about, really. And you save actually quite a lot. It's 5 seconds per. You save 5 seconds per reward card you do that way. So you get 6 in total in the run, 2 per boss. You don't get 1 after Darius. So it's 2 per boss, so 6 in total. So it's 30 seconds of time save over the course of the whole run. And this was discovered by Vortex back in 2020. And yeah, I remember at the time it was at the time the leaderboard, like the community was becoming kind of inactive with any percent. You still have like the people were still around, like on Discord and stuff, but few people were doing any percent attempts. And this finding brought a lot of people back to the game because like everybody had a 30 seconds free PB pretty much. But yeah, I guess that's the case with minigame, but that game, inactivity-wise, it really works in waves. Like you have like 4 months nobody doing attempts, and then for in the next while you get like 5 top 10 runners doing attempts at the same time, live on Twitch at the same time. It really goes by wave. But you can still pick up this game anytime because the people are still active even when they are not actually doing attempts. So if you're new runners, yeah, that's what I was talking about with bump here. So we got a few side points. A few times I got a perfect flip, but yeah, not this time around. But yeah, we are fine. We are still flying half a ship. So yeah, if you want to pick this game up, actually I think it's one of the better NFS to pick up as a new runner. Because yeah, it's not that hard to finish a run. Like just to, of course, get like every run, you need to grind to get a good time, but just to finish the run on the proper route is not very difficult. Just if you're like a bit familiar with the game, if you played it as a kid or whatever, with a bit of playtime, it's really not difficult. And yeah, there's no really hard trick to learn. Like actually, like a game-breaking glitch that is like frame perfect or you don't have anything like that. And the length of it, it's 2 hours estimate. So it's still like acceptable length, especially for a racing game. So I do really recommend it to pick it up. And even in periods of time where you have less people doing attempts, the community is still active, so you will still have people to help you. And yeah, this game is still the one, I think it's the one where the any percent category has the most amount of runs on the board in the NFS community. Like even though like Most Wanted has more active players, I think it has less any percent runs. Might be really close with NFS the run though. But yeah, there's over 70 submissions for any percent in this category, so you always have all the runs to compete against. At the very worst. Okay, so last race on Wolf's territory. Because we did most of it to get our Lotus. So after that it will be the Wolf Challenge. So yeah, pretty short sprint to end it up. And after beating Wolf, before facing NG, I need to remember that I need to jump to Kenji's safe house. That's a reminder for myself. Because after you beat all 3 bosses, you will you will have to meet Darius, and yeah, his spot is the spot he wants to meet you in is really close to Kenji's safe house. So compared to the default safe house you get at the beginning of the game, it saves 15 seconds to do that. And yeah, if you forget to jump to the safe house, then you need to go the long way around, and that's what we nickname the drive of shame, when you have to go the long way and lose 15 seconds. So yeah, here we go. We are facing our good old friend Wolf, and don't get fooled by this Aston Martin, because it's actually one of the worst cars. For tier 2, it's one of the worst cars in the game. And out of the 3 bosses, I would say he's the worst. He really sucks. His car sucks and he sucks as well. It's really pathetic. Even though when I was a kid, I thought he was the best one out of the 3 because he has the Aston Martin. But it was all a lie. So yeah, this shortcut right here actually saves quite a lot. It's one of the bigger shortcuts in the game. Not all shortcuts are worth it, and for some of them it even depends on which layout you're on. Because it can depend on what corner comes before or after. Like depending on the line you really want into the next corner. So yeah, this race is the shortest out of the 3 boss races. This one is very well sub 2 minutes. Yeah, maybe I can go a bit through the storyline real quick, even though it's pretty basic. But basically, it's a direct sequel of Most Wanted, but before going in Most Wanted, a few years prior, you were already living in this city, Palmont City, and the city of Carbon, and yeah, you were doing a race against NG, Kenji, and Wolf, and the police broke in and bust everyone except you. So you flew away from the city and you left behind, I mean, all your friends plus your girlfriend Nikki. And you were supposed to leave with the prize money of the race, but you never got it. Like, the bag you got didn't actually have the money. You only had paper bags. So then, after the events of Most Wanted, the game starts when you head back to Palmont City. So everyone has pretty much beef against you because everyone thought you ran away with the money without warning. So yeah, you're back, and like, so Cross, when you crash the M3 at the start, Cross catches you and captures you, but Darius, who gave you the car you left with, you left the city with, says that you owe him twice, because he saves you from Cross, but he owes you. He said now that you owe him twice, so you pretty much you're beating the 3 zones for him, because he owns the 4th zone in the city is owned by Darius. So you pretty much do the dirty job for him, beat everyone, and yeah, so that you and him combine have the entire city. So that's pretty much what we are heading at. But the thing is, every wingman we catch along the way were at the scene where we left and the cops broke in and stuff, and they each have a pretty important detail to notice. So yeah, so it was Yumi for Wolf beating Wolf. Here we are gonna have Colin, which one of the most famous lines in the game that we are gonna get to hear actually before skipping the cutscene. And it's gonna be Samson for NG coming after. So I'm gonna keep it quiet. He's gonna say the line.
Look, I just want to race.
He just won a race. So here we are gonna jump to Kenji's safe house and then challenge NG. So yeah, we're gonna get Samson after it, and then we are gonna have the entire city with Darius. So we beat our mission, right? So Darius, he wants to congratulate us. That's why we are gonna meet, right? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Nikki that you left out on the scene. Now she's with Darius, and she hates you at the start of the game. Even though for some reason, which I think is a really stupid thing to do, he puts her in charge of supervising your progress over the game. That's why she's the one doing the tutorial. She's the one introducing Sal to you. That kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna spoil it since we're gonna skip that cutscene anyway. That actually Darius, it was the whole scene was a setup by Darius to make you leave and then get away with. He's also behind the guy. He's also behind the bags being swapped around and you not getting the money you were supposed to leave with. So it was pretty much a whole setup. Oh shit. It was pretty much a whole setup to make you leave, and then so he got the money and your girl and you not in his way anymore. So with the testimony of your wingman, you get to find this out. And also Nikki's testimony seems to add up, and she's actually also questioning your wingman behind the scenes. And yeah, so when we are gonna meet Darius, he's gonna essentially give us back to betray us and give us back to Cross. But since Nikki has the same infos that we do, she will deliver us by making a deal with Cross that he frees us from Darius and pretty much by taking down Darius, we will get the money for Cross to get the bounty he would have got, because he's a bounty hunter. To get the bounty he would have got from capturing us. Without actually do it. And since Darius is an absolute dick to Cross the entire game, he agrees to that. So yeah, this is why really, if you're gonna frame the guy to put him away from your girl, from the girl you wanna get, maybe it's quite stupid to intentionally get them talking to each other again. But whatever, like it's they probably wrote the storyline in 10 minutes, so yeah, he's just a evil guy in a video game with a evil guy plan, so of course it's not gonna make any sense. So yeah, final. No, not final, but before getting to Darius, it's the final canyon overtake we're gonna get.
You're done, punk.
So since we have the Elise for this, thanks to the Wongward, the early overtake should be pretty easy, and even earlier than the one we could get with the Mazda. Okay, that's quite a good one. Hopefully no sound glitch. Prage. Nice. Good. Okay, so right now with sound glitches, besides the one at the very end, there's no other really catastrophic one other than that one. So Prage for the last one. There's a few other spots where you can get one, but oh, there's actually another critical spot. It's Darius intro. Never mind. Hopefully I didn't jinxed it. Yeah, I just noticed I haven't talked about the car tuning on this game. You might have seen me yeah, setuping the car when I upgraded it. There are some stuff that is car dependent and some stuff that is just always faster in this game, no matter the car, because yeah, some stuff is not personal preference, it's just, yeah, this game setup wise is not balanced by any means.
Well.
Okay, sadly we're not playing Italian, he's not saying bene bene bene. But yeah, so like, you know, you have 3 cursors, one to the left, one to the middle, one to the right. You can put for each, like 3 per part. So we're hiring Mickey for the extra nos. So goodbye, Neville. I'm lost with my words. But yeah, you have those 3. You can put it either to the left, to the middle, or to the right. So we call it to the left 1, to the middle 2, and to the right 3 for each part, for each tune you can make, and it's 3 per part. And so the engine will always be all the way right, 333, because full horsepower is just completely OP. It gives you so much more top speed for no drawback in acceleration. Meanwhile, if you put it to torque or to the middle, you just lose massive top speed for no gain whatsoever. It's really stupid. So it's always engine all the way to the right. For suspension, actually, on the PC version, you might have not noticed if you don't speak Norwegian traditional, but oversteer and understeer are reverted. So actually we have tuned the Elise to be fully understeer on the suspension by putting it all the way to the right, but in reality it's a full oversteer. Otherwise this car is even more understeering. And then the NOS is always all the way left which is maximum velocity. Because yes, the extra power you get from the NOS by doing that is outweighs a lot what you would get from all the way to the right, which would be extra duration. And then like tires are always in the middle. Okay, hopefully no sound glitch here. That would be pretty bad. But yeah, and tires are always in the middle, because if you put to drift, it's undrivable. Like, in both ways, it's undrivable, pretty much. Good, no sound glitch. That would have been bad. I would have had to redo the race. So yeah, and then for transmission, brakes, and turbo, it's kinda car and car dependent and personal preference at the same time. However, brakes, it's really useful for IL only, because it's really minor what it does. It helps you getting like the extra tune you want for ILs, but in full game it's just not worth it, and you only it's only in convenient spot you unlock brakes on, so we just never get that for any percent. However, yeah, gearbox we don't get it neither, because for the cars we are using specifically, stock transmission is better. Because stock transmission only changes the gear ratio, it doesn't give you extra performance in this game. And you don't really have long straights in this game, as you may have noticed. So top speed is really not important in this game. So yeah, you most of the time you don't really need gearbox. The stock gearbox is usually shorter and therefore preferable. And even like for ILs, you will tune the gearbox on some cars, but like yeah, it's only like, you know, minor adjustments as well, or it's track dependent as well, and stock transmission is usually the better all-rounder in most cases. And for turbo, yeah, for turbo you usually, it's kind of car dependent, but usually you want more high RPMs, because that's where you are the most. So it's usually like 3-3-2 or 3-2-3 setups. Oh yeah, I forgot this is not Space Street. I should have taken the shortcut here. I was too busy yapping and lost focus. Because there's another track where I would have... It's better to take the long way, but... Whoa, what? Yeah, you see, that's what I meant with the traffic. Like, what was this guy doing? Okay, this race can be a bit hectic with the start, because we want a shortcut on the left side fairly early on. Okay, luckily we cleared it, and yeah, this is the one I was talking about. You can easily get blocked by the AI out of this shortcut. This is one of the few speed trap you can get trouble with. Even though it's pretty unlikely. Because you're with the Elise against tier 3 opponents, and the Urban is a bit stronger than before. So especially if you get like Corvettes as opponents, or Vipers that are very fast acceleration, it can be an issue. But most of the time it's not. Like I think it only happened to me like once or twice maybe to lose this event. It's quite unlikely. It's pretty unlikely, as a wise man would say. So yeah, that last zone of Silverton, so it's really like casino themed, like Yeah, rich suburb, like this part is kind of like rich American suburb in the hills type of thing, with the casino part, like you have a strip similar to Las Vegas. And also you can see that the zone is intended for harder track layouts, like it's really twisty and elevation changes and stuff like that, with narrow parts and stuff like that. It's really meant to be harder to drive on. So you really do have the hardest layouts. So yeah, now thanks to the speed breaker abuse, instead of directly heading in to the older strats of getting to Wolf 2s and getting the Corvette immediately, we can actually afford to delay the Corvette by doing 2 extra races, which will barely lose me any time to the Corvette actually. Like probably like 3-4 seconds accumulated, and that will allow me to do Eagle Drive, which I haven't unlocked yet. I need to do 2 races to unlock it. With the Elise, instead of the old route, was doing stock Corvette, and the Elise is actually a lot better than the Corvette with no upgrades. So from that you get like 7 seconds back from driving with the Elise. 7-8 seconds maybe. So overall it's worth it, and on top of that, Eagle Drive unlocks you the the race turbo. So you can use that instead of the Pro turbo from the old route. No, actually my bad, it's Spade Street that unlocks the race turbo, but that's the race we're gonna do after this one to get to Eagle Drive. So yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone we are doing here. With this route adjustment. So that's gonna be, yeah, minor time save on every race we're gonna have with the Corvette really. And it will also make the Darius overtake ever so slightly easier. Not by much, but slightly. So yeah, this is Spade Street. It's actually one of the least favorable track for the Elise compared to the Corvette, but thankfully it's pretty short, and it unlocks you that the aforementioned turbo. Therefore, I go for this one. However, to unlock the Corvette, we need to beat the territory on the bottom, which requires you to do the canyon duel, so we're still gonna have to do. So yeah, we are gonna have to use the Viper for this event and this event only, before immediately swapping to Corvette. We can afford it, and it's still worth it. If you really want to cheese it, the overtake is doable with the Elise, and it saves like I don't know, barely 2-3 seconds to do that over using the Viper, but it's extremely risky, extremely inconsistent. It's a completely stupid strat to go for. Nobody does that. Like, you're literally gambling your run on a super hard trick to save 3 seconds, which you would lose from 1 traffic hit anyway. So yeah, don't go for Elise overtake. I guess go for it if you plan to kill the run anyway, but because actually the Viper has the best acceleration in the game. Even though its handling is terrible, that's why we don't stick with it. So yes, stock Viper still has faster acceleration our fully upgraded Lotus, and it's by a lot actually. Oh, oopsie. So even though on a normal race, the Elise would be faster, because it has like no speed breaker and more twisty corners. In Canyon Duels you don't have NOS, so in there the stock Viper has a lot better acceleration than this Lotus. So yeah, that was the last time you see the Elise. We are gonna buy the Viper for only one race. So if you're a Viper lover, whether it's from the car or from the runner, keep your eyes open because you won't see it for long. Only for this Canyon overtake. Because this is a rematch against Wolf. We get a rematch against all the 3 bosses on Doris territory. They are technically not mandatory, but as you might see, a Canyon overtake is a lot faster than a normal race. So we are happily gonna go for all 3 of them. Okay, I didn't choke here, perfect. So I'm gonna buy the Corvette. And upgrade it. So engine 3C3. NOS 111, as you might now know, and the race turbo. And we are set for the end of the run. We are gonna finish it like that. The Corvette is the fastest car in the game overall. On some tracks, it can be beaten by the Audi, the cars that Darius have. But this car is not playable in career at all, even after beating the game. Therefore, in career, this car is no question the fastest car in the game. And the other cars cannot come close. Like the Lancer Evo can come close in the twistiest tracks, but it's gonna lose a lot on. It's gonna lose a lot on the faster tracks, which are most of the city ones. And as you might see, yeah, the acceleration is nowhere near what you've seen so far. This car is an absolute rocket. And it's not even fully upgraded because like race engine is locked behind. It's only pro engine because race engine is locked behind the longest race in the game, Brook Street. Which is actually the case on every, no matter which starter car you pick, that particular unlock is the same across all 3 of them. So they intentionally give out the best upgrade behind the longest and hardest track in the game, which you won't see in any percent for obvious reasons. So I can be quite Speedbreaker happy with this car as well. Actually, Speedbreaker makes it quite better than the Audi. Thing is, on individual levels, Speedbreaker is not allowed. The reason for that is that the OG community for that game mainly played either like just like the OG community, like before 2014-15, full game runs for this game really didn't exist. The community was pretty much only playing either online or just individual tracks, time attack. And since in online you can obviously not use Speedbreaker for obvious reasons, they were just used to not using it, and even when they're doing time attacks, they considered it cheating, which I think for good reason. I think the game is more enjoyable without Speedbreaker. They consider it cheating, especially because in-game with the in-game timer, they didn't know, of course, that you could abuse to be faster RTA. But by in-game time, you can just hold speed breaker in almost every corner for prolonged period of time, and you can really get stupidly fast corners and stupidly fast in-game lap times according to in-game timer. So this they knew about. So they decided to ban it. Like, it was kind of unwritten rules, of course, because like the communities were like forums and YouTube videos and stuff like that. But if someone posted a video of time with Speedbreaker, usually he would be shamed. 'Cause that's how things worked back in the day. But yeah, playing full game speedruns of racing games is really, if you take count of the speedrunning history, it's fairly recent. Like really, outside of maybe some Mario Kart games, before, like, you have very few full game runs of racing game before 2014, I would say. The communities prior to that were focusing on ILs. I mean, still to this day, ILs are more popular on racing games than full game speedruns. But now full game speedruns at least have their interest. Like, we got runners, we got some games with big leaderboards, we even have them in marathons. Like, with racing games have come a long way when it comes to speedrunning compared to like 10 years ago. Okay, this track can be a bit hectic. A lot of corners where it can go wrong. Because it's a lot of zigzags and stuff like that, which the Corvette struggles at navigating, and yeah, if you get it optimally, it's flat out, full speed. But with the Corvette, you can, if you get off the line, it's really hard to recover without a big crash or speed loss. Can help yourself with the walls as well, like that. But the bounces are not always super consistent from the walls, so need to be careful with that. So if you get it right, you can save a lot of time on this track. Yeah, so we have a handful more of races. After this, it will be the last drift in the run, actually. And then we have a canyon duel against NG, and then one last speed trap, and then yeah, then we are heading off to Darius. So yeah, last time you see the fart bonus in action, thanks to what you donated for Norwegian traditional. Wink, wink. I think this can still be underestimated, despite the unfortunate events at the start of this run. That's if I don't get sound glitched on Darius. Sadly, I crashed there, so yeah, not a very good ending to this drift, but it was still fine overall, I would say. Okay, so there's an interesting thing about this canyon duel, that you know that cutscene and then with the countdown, we couldn't skip it on the other races, but here you just press A and it skips for some reason. It only works on this event specifically, and nobody knows why. But it does work, so we're gonna use it. It's yeah, pretty interesting. Normally we don't need this because there's a... Normally we should reload for his territory attack, but there is a twist. Is that if you control the territory and then give it up to one of the minor crews and Darius owns the last one, you keep ownership of the territory. And Darius team, Stack Deck, they never reclaim the races from the minor crews, unlike the others. So in those situations, you can safely not reload, and you will never lose that territory. So if it was like earlier in the game on the other territories, I would have reload, because otherwise, by the time you drive like 1 or 2 races, the minor crew will lose the race to the main one. It's almost guaranteed. So it's really not something you can risk. If you're on PB attempt and it's like 1 race before unlocking the boss, you can gamble it, but if it's like 1 or 2 races and you cannot afford to reload to get a PB, then you can gamble it, but otherwise you should always reload. But on Darius, he never reclaims. He never reclaims his races, so for some reason. So yeah, we have unlocked the Darius boss fight, and this time it's not 2 but 4 races. You need to first face NG, Kenji and Wolf in both a canyon sprint and a city sprint, and then only we will be able to fight Darius. Which is why getting a sound glitch before his canyon duel will be catastrophic. And I think we are like really close with his teammates. Yeah, if you have any thing to read during that canyon sprint, I think it's a good last opportunity before the final boss fight.
Yes, I absolutely can do so. And I think what would be good to go through is all of the various prizes that people can win. Well, people can be in a draw to win any of these prizes if they meet the threshold with any singular donation. So if you donate upwards of 50 kroner with a single donation, you'll be in the running to win one of several bookmarks, which will be very nice. I've had a look at them. They are snazzy indeed and very useful. Bump it up to 100 kroner and you'll be in the runnings for a email or profile pic commission from Croatian. Very handy for those of us who for whom art is a secondary passion, shall we say. You'll also be in the running for a beer mug raffle draw. That will be handy for those who do enjoy a drink and don't use their own comically oversized mug. Bump it up to 150, and there's a few things that you get entered, so I'll go through them quickly. There's some blue-ish socks, some homemade mittens, some orange mittens, and some yellow mittens that you can be in the running for, and some handmade socks, because we all need more than we think we do, don't we? Bump it up to 200 and you'll be in the running for a Pokemon card. That would be very, very interesting. Let me actually look into that. Which one is that? That is a pristine Tenmu VMAX card. Ooh. Oh! I say again, oh, that's very interesting. Well, we've got all sorts of delightful prizes for you to enter to, and there is not much more you need to do than simply donate beyond the threshold. So, you know what to do. With that, take us home.
Yeah, so we're on the last city sprint, which is actually an exclusive layout. You cannot play it in quick race or anywhere else in career. It's only in this event. If you don't mod the game, it's the only place you can race this track on. It's the longest sprint in the career. It goes through all 3 zones, since you're facing all the 3 bosses, NG, Genji and Wolf. So it's kinda a good sum up of the entire game we just went through. I really like this track. I think it's really enjoyable to play, and it's really a shame we cannot play it as an IL in quick race. Because yeah, that means you cannot play it like without traffic, with a non-career car or anything like that, if you don't have extra options. And extra options is not allowed for speedruns, and yeah, this track is not an exception. So yeah, this can be completed under 250, well under 250 RT actually. But I got a few traffic hits here, so I think it won't be that fast. Saving a bit of NOS for this section, because long straight coming up. And then after that it's gonna be a circuit against Darius, and then the canyon overtake, which will be the hardest part of the run actually, right at the very end. And I think I cannot afford to choke it if I want to make it underestimate. I think it's gonna be tight to make it underestimate actually. It's probably gonna be like a 201. It's unfortunate that we lost like 7 to 8 minutes at the very start of the run due to that sound glitch at the worst moment. It's literally the worst moment. Yeah, this will be. I think if I get a first try Darius, it will be overestimated by like 30 seconds or something. Sad, that would be my first overestimate in a marathon. But yeah, very, very unfortunate. I think after I cross the line here, it's like 1 minute before the end of the run, if I get it first try. Because like you have a cutscene. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to, but I think, yeah, I will be too late to be underestimate. We'll be close though. If I get it first try, I think it's gonna be less than 30 seconds behind. But hey, of course the first time I get a run overestimate has to be at NSG, right? Traditions. Like it was just fate to have that sound glitch happening at NSG. Oh. No sound glitch, that's good. Yeah, 30 seconds overestimate. If I get it first try, it's 30 seconds overestimate. Sag. Actual Sag. But it is what it is. Like, yeah, 7 minutes time lost to a game crash is extremely unfortunate. Yeah, the red alarm. No!
No one can touch me.
Alright, let's at least try to get it first try and not choke. So this overtake is pretty difficult. You need to overtake him in the right way. Oh no, I choked. Ah, damn it. I went too wide in the last corner. I done it right until the very end. Okay, this is good. And time. Yeah, 2:00:50. Sorry for overestimating it. Yeah, that small crash at the end. Sorry, that game crash early on due to the sound glitch really put me in the mud. Like held me back like 6-7 minutes. I would say something like that. Probably have to check on the VOD. Other than that, I think it was a pretty decent run.
Yep, not bad indeed.
Yeah,
It was
so we're
certainly
gonna
a delight
through.
to watch.
Wait, because we're gonna through the final cutscene and we. Oh no, never mind. I got some glitch on the final cutscene. We won't hear his final words. Which
Unfortunate.
is really unfortunate because it's we still get the subtitles though, so if you can speak Danish, you can still. Oh, Norwegian traditional. Sorry, I gave it away. Yeah, Norwegian traditional. The entire way it was just Danish because this game is not available in Norwegian.
I'm sure that will cause absolutely no arguments.
So it was we thought it would be a nice meme to do that, and yeah, since it's only text wise. But yeah, it's actually in this cutscene normally he says the keys are in the car, enjoy while it lasts. There's always someone there faster than you are. Sooner or later, is they're gonna catch up, which I think it's a very fitting end to a speedrun, especially like if you get a record or PB or something like that. But yeah, unfortunately, we won't hear his words. You could only read them in Danish, I suppose. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you a lot, NSG, for having me presenting this run. It's the speedrun I started speedrunning with. It got me into speedrunning. It got me into events as well. My first marathon runs, on-site, online, both were on this game. So yeah, if I'm here still at events, I wouldn't be there without this game. So thank you and I love it since I'm a kid. So thank you very much for allowing me to show it off. Shout out to the Need for Speedruns community. Many of them I see in the chat stayed up and even donated. So thank you very much, guys. Good people, good friends. Thank you in general for all my other friends in speedrunning I've made, like through events especially. If I keep going to those events, it's mostly, if I'm still here at those events, it's mostly thanks to you as well. So thank you, thank you to all of those people, and yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you very much once more, Cousin, for bringing us that fantastic run. We'll be back in just a few short moments with Deadpool being run by Lord Mouse. So get yourself a snack or a drink, stretch your legs, wake yourself up for this graveyard shift.
I'm going to
And
sleep.
do remember that right after that, we will be having Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, for which we have a couple of donation incentives. You get to name one of the roller coasters if you donate for that, or we can donate together to try and banish the park inspector all the way to heck. So there's a lot to look forward to with that. Stay tuned and don't go anywhere.